when we got back from Australia in November until we left on tour in April, minus 5 days of recording and prep or whatever. It's just been album, writing, changing stuff into the very last minute. It's the first time, a lot of firsts for the record, but it's the first time with like a click map and all the stuff that is changing as we go. We go to practice and we do it 10 times, 6 times, and then we switch stuff up 1 to 2 BPM at a time. Like no one will ever notice these changes, but we're really getting a luxury to spend all the time just making it exactly to our liking. And we finally played it all the way through just a week ago, you know what I mean? So we can play it. If we needed to make another Star Spawn or Hidden History, we could just record on the tape machine, 2 20-minute takes. But because we're going to take the time, we'll elevate the end product and we'll make something truly, truly epic, even by BI standards, which are already pretty ridiculous sometimes. It was like a total, in a positive way, a plateau where it's like we've gotten here and now we don't have anything on the horizon but just infinite potential. We can now draw from the total repertoire of our past releases and every influence we need of our own sound, our own type of death metal, and then we can put anything else into it that we want, because a record like Time Wave Zero really stretches the boundary of influence from everything else. Like a Hidden History is a more is more album. Time Wave is a less is more album, and that is a huge gulf of potential influence or ambition. And so coming into this album was the first time we didn't have stuff that was like years old, you know what I mean? And like you were saying, Hidden History 2019 recording, we were playing Giza in 2013, sound checking for the Interdimensional Extinction demo. Like, we've been playing that song for 10 years but didn't record it until 6 years ago, 5 years ago, and 4 years. What year is it? Anyway, 5. The point is, and songs from the demo and Star Spawn were several years old, and so this one were completely fresh, and we, with the advantage of the logic and all this stuff, we were able to totally just say, how crazy can we make this thing? Like, how much can we put in this pot and make it still make sense? Which, if we had been touring these songs and refining them gradually, we wouldn't have been able to make as specific as these are.
That's what I was going to say too, is that COVID gave us this opportunity and the time to approach the material in a different way. So for example, like the A side, I spent a lot of time just in my room at night, just playing guitar and just like working out these parts in a way that I never would have before. And also programming drum parts that I was like, I don't think I can't play this right now, but like maybe I can someday, when we record, and that was a few years ago. So I mean, there's also some riffs on the B side that Paul has had for years as well.
Even since before Star Spawn.
Yeah, that are these pieces that have kind of gone into play here. Actually, there's a riff on the A side also that even predates Hidden History. And so yeah, putting all these things together that were kind of like sitting in the background, and maybe like our band wasn't ready to do things that we are doing on this record yet until now.
To that point, sorry to interrupt you, but it's very applicable. We tried to do this kind of like crowd freak out situation on Hidden History, I think for part of Awakening, and we were just not ready. didn't understand how it would work in the context of the type of death metal we played. But it took years to try to figure out, and for this record, I think we really kind of honed in on what that would look like, and I guess you guys will see.
I'm not going any further than this.
This is the top floor of Hansa Studios. You could read a book, you could smoke a joint.
Place for inspiration.
Yeah, you can just get out. Also, if you want to see what's going on, you can look right into the main room here.
Scare some people.
Yeah, you can do that. Hello. No one's in there right now. But just be careful, you know what I mean? Yeah, we're just being very careful. Don't walk backwards up here, brother. Fucking hot today, man. This is my little personal station. It's the Berlin connection. You have my beautiful wife, Erica, and then you have my late father, my mother here, and my little Moog Prodigy. This is our fridge. We got pierogies, you know, things. This is photos of taken.
Paul,
Yeah?
got something I wanted to show you.
What's up?
Look at this thing.
I know, dude. That's monster. It's called the Big Vegansky, man.
Fries in it even.
Fries, chicken,
We could cut
regular
this. We
bird.
can cut this into 8, right?
I mean, they're probably afraid. I'll split it with you later. But this is the Berlin connection. This picture was taken by Erica in 2014 in Berlin, and my father was born in Berlin in 1950. He lived in Germany until 1971, going back and forth between here and the States. So this is a little taste of home. As the band was already willing and it needed to elevate our previous albums' methodology and how we actualize the concepts. And, you know, like I said, we've already proved that we can play crazy, like kind of progressive, psychedelic, atmospheric death metal with just 4 people live and then minimal overdubs. But what's going to happen? What can we make if we have the luxury of time? You know, this is the longest we've ever been in any studio. And most of our albums, we have to do the entire thing, mixing and mastering, in the already shorter duration of time. And now we have even longer than that just for capturing stuff. Like, it's going to be, you know, sky's the limit.
Very cool.
Fucking groove, man.
I like it with the whole time. I think it should happen the whole time. Specifically, this is something new that we're doing on this record, is that the drums were all recorded to tape, but using a method that was also recording to the digital DAW at the same time, which in the past it's all been to tape, live, no click tracks, all that stuff. But this time we did click tracks, the drums were to tape, that was put into the DAW, and lined up, and then we've put all the other stuff on top of that, and that's like really a new thing that we've never done. But it's still
we never tracked it separately.
It still retains, like, we played the main basic tracks. Like I laid down the drums mostly with the four of us in the same room.
When we did the first take of the Stargate, which is
it was
the
the message,
message,
yeah.
the B-side,
B-side.
we pretty much just kept that entire take. It was start to finish.
Yeah,
was
first
the
time
first
even
take.
of that whole song.
Yeah.
Which we couldn't even play a week prior because we had never been able to do it from start to finish, even with the click track at the practice space. Only since like when you guys came to the noisy rooms and we got it together. It was Isaac's birthday.
It was Isaac's birthday, yeah, and that was a pinnacle moment of the recording.
Obviously, there's like punch in or like in the scratch tracks, both guitars and bass scratch tracks we were just gonna dump anyway. But when we listened to it back, we were like, shit, we've released less, and people thought it was just fine, just like But then we had to go and build everything back up on top of it. But the
Which
actual,
is well worth it.
Yeah, the drum take, and the scratch tracks for the whole B-side was first time trying to play it in the studio.
Nailing all the really weird transitions.
Yeah, and like
time.
the 60s part up until the drum roll into the 80s speed metal part. At practice, we've had to just like look at the laptop with the
waveform.
click map and the way we watch the waveforms, and we're all looking at the computer, we're looking at Isaac, like at practice, like, is this it? And he's like, I think it's here. And we all were just in the room and couldn't look at the waveform or the computer, and we just had played it 40 times or something at noisy rooms, and we just did it, and we just kept going. And that was like, actually, even before that, during that particular take, I had the sensation where you're like, this is the take, I can feel it, and if it had been live to tape, which it was, but when we added to it, but if it had just been that, it would have been more than enough. Like, we've literally released albums where we played in full takes less competently than that. And it was like 5 or 6 times during the 22 minutes that I was like, dude, this is it. Like,
Isaac's shoe even came untied.
yeah. And he was like, keep going.
He's like, keep going. And he tied his shoe.
During the break or whatever. Like, it was still,
It was just
and then he has to
like-
fix the punch with the foot or whatever, but like, we just kept the take going,
We also are experimenting with the Italian marble room, or we're using it to capture the acoustic guitars,
Yeah, and
as
then
well as the auxiliary percussion. There's the gong is in there, and I think there's a resonance that picks off of that as well. It kind of
Sounds amazing.
It sounds
great.
insane. Mm-hmm. The sound is so crisp, like you can't even hear. Listen. Probably doesn't translate on the thing, but it's like it just sits really nicely. The two mics that are being used, one of them is real old, but the sound is just, it sounds instantly mystical, like you're in the 70s in some field that is also inside of a cave,
Or like
and there's like a
weird
rainbow in the
opium den with a bunch
sky,
of
but there's also moss hanging from the clouds, and like there's like some big megalithic structure that is very soft but is also decrepit and imposing magnitude. And you can hear all of it in the immediacy of the tone reflected from the granite wall. Marble.
Italian marble.
Italian marble. There are no parallel surfaces for sound to bounce off in a bad way. So even the walls and the doors are all slanted so that it just is the sound. Apparently it was marble floor at 1.2, but it sounded a little too present. And so they had to slightly deaden it with the wood. But yeah, check this out.